Alright, so I've seen a Mickey 17, and this is the new film from Bong Joon Ho, and sci-fi comedy where we find Robert Pattinson with his character that works for a company and is willing to die multiple times while being on this expedition. And to be honest, I kind of liked what I've seen, especially with the story elements and the plot and the humor, and that's what I'm gonna get into in this video. And so this will be my full and non-spoiler review for the movie, and go over my impressions, what are my thoughts on it, and sometimes I think we're flawed out. But I'm gonna get into all right here, right now. And so, if you're new, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so it's on any future videos, including reviews or movie news and stuff like that. But now, let's hop into it. And now, I want to start off by saying, going into this movie, and the fact that this is coming from director Bong Joon Ho, and this is coming off the heels of his Oscar-winning movie Parasite from 2019. That was his most recent movie that was critically acclaimed. I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it had good direction, good writing, what Bong Joon Ho can adapt with his vision and skills. And even though going into his new film, Mickey 17, for what he's able to do as a filmmaker, and which basically he can do anything, especially with this movie that has Robert Pattinson as the main lead, and the fact that with the concept and story of this movie is that with Mickey Barnes that is going to commit to a job where he has to die multiple times, and it creates clones of himself, because every time that he dies, a new version of him comes out. Because even though I found the story very interesting, especially as this movie was delayed multiple times. Now this coming out years later, I feel like if this was worth the wait, in my opinion. And I gotta say, I liked what I saw. I thought it was so refreshing to witness Robert Pattinson again in a movie, especially as there was more than one Robert Pattinson in this movie, and the fact that he has a clone of himself, Mickey 17 and Mickey 18, especially was what is revealed in the trailers. Because even though I liked its story for what it was able to present itself, especially with the camera angles, tackling the themes of being a sci-fi, also adding a bit of humor, the comedy. I kind of liked how the story was going, and I could not stop laughing at how many times Robert Pattinson was trying to pull off the humor and the charm and the charisma. And I just really liked what I seen, the supporting characters, especially with Steven Yeun, and I kind of liked his character a bit, and along with Mark Ruffalo and Tony Collette. I kind of like their chemistry, also especially with Mark Ruffalo's character, who's a menacing guy, and especially for what the purpose of the expedition and trying to colonize an ice planet that Mickey has been put through in order to save the planet. And the fact that this movie goes to locations, especially in outer space, for what Bong Joon Ho wanted to take this movie to bigger lengths. And even though I don't want to make a slight comparison, especially from Parasite to this movie, because even though I enjoyed Parasite, but even though with Mickey 17, I thought it was very, very good. It was so long of a movie. I felt like things were sort of flawed out, but it definitely delivers a good story, especially with Robert Pattinson fans out there will definitely get a kick out of him, especially if you want to experience multiple clones of Robert Pattinson, if you get what I'm talking about here. But there was so much to enjoy, and especially with all the sci-fi elements and the thrilling elements. And now, a couple of things that I want to say that I really enjoyed about this movie, and the fact it feels so a fresh take on the story and the way that they wanted to approach this. And especially as we're exploring this ice planet, especially the political side of what they want to do with it, especially with the creatures, and with Mark Ruffalo and with his character of what he plans to do with it. And especially I did all of the weird and creepy elements that there is added to it. As I said in the beginning, it comes off as a comedy, but combined with other sci-fi elements. And also, I want to talk about the special effects and with the visuals that are added to it. But especially with this movie that was hyped up so much, but I guess I had a feeling that like with some parts of the film they definitely fell flat for me. But I don't think this will be as memorable. But it certainly was a good movie for me to enjoy, especially if you're looking for a funny comedy, but combined with sci-fi and lots of Robert Pattinson to enjoy on screen. Trust me. When it came down to the story parts, I felt like some parts were weak, but it did turn out to be good towards the end, especially what kind of third act this movie delivered, and I kind of felt like it was like a total head scratcher for what was the purpose of like a Robert Pattinson's character turning it into multiple clones, especially with having like another version of himself by his side, and especially for what we explore about these two versions of the character, it kind of felt like a good taste. But especially like, even though a part of me like I didn't like what I've seen, but on the other hand, it delivered like just a very good result, and especially questions that people ask him, what it's like what's it like to die and to come out as a clone and going on like a dangerous expeditions, and to having to ask that question, and even though like, it does weird and dumb stuff that I was really pleasant to see on screen, but technically not so much. But I think Bong Joon Ho definitely did a good job of like creating a stunning visualized movie, but combined with like so much comedy. And it felt like, I know it felt like a long movie, but trust me, you'll be in for a treat once you sit down to watch this movie. And even though for what I liked coming from Mickey and his character perspective is that he's like wanting to sign on to the job that like no one else can handle, and even though he is committed to doing like dumb stuff, like Robert Pattinson's character does deliver a good time, especially as like being like in this state of like having dying multiple times. I believe that, I don't know if this movie was hyped up as much as the marketing did, but trust me, I feel like from start to finish, it really delivers a good story from how I got to this moment and for how I got to this moment. But I feel like at the end of the day, it was just like a good movie. It delivered a good story, just a good refreshing taste on the sci-fi genre. It just delivers a good comedy aspect, because I think like you'll definitely get a good kick out of what Robert Pattinson can do, especially as like an actor, delivering his comedic charms and his technique for what he wanted to approach as a character, and he gets to partner up with Bong Joon Ho, and now that we're working on this movie, I feel like it could have done better stuff, but and especially with the commentary side coming from Mickey's character and what he sees in his point of view as he is seeing all the events unfold, this especially with his clones. I feel like it was like a very good storyline that I typically enjoyed, and there's like so much stuff that goes on and on, and even though it has like too many plot holes that like it was so confusing to even focus upon, but hey, it delivered a good ending, and that's what I want from a movie: a beginning, middle, and end. I'm pretty sure I was excited and interested going into this movie, and I had a good time. What was it? A fantastic movie? Probably not. I believe some good scores and some great performances, by the way, especially as I love seeing Robert Pattinson on screen, especially he can do in his acting career, especially coming up of Twilight, Batman, and now being in like a sci-fi comedy where we see multiple versions of himself. Yeah, that's why technically is the most memorable to see it in this movie. Yes, so these are my thoughts for you, and I really recommend this movie to all you. If you're a fan of Robert Pattinson and a fan of the sci-fi genre, this movie is for you. That's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments below and what your thoughts on Mickey 17, if you've seen the movie, and give me a rating between 1 out of 10. I'm curious to hear your opinion, and plus your opinion matters as well. Just let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to notifications about videos if you want more stuff like this, and you also follow me on all my social medias over the link down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.